What's up everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here, and I am just back from the Google event. We took the wraps off their latest phones, the really not very surprising 5X and 6P, since those suckers have been leaked and rumored for many moons. I've been getting a ton of questions about things from build quality to camera to fingerprint sensor, so I thought I'd just make a video giving my thoughts and impressions on both devices. Let's jump right in. Let's start with the Big Daddy, the 6P. So here are my general thoughts, and again, I only had a few minutes to play with it. We'll give more thoughts and impressions when I actually get them in our offices to test. First, all three colors look awesome. If I was ordering one myself, I would just close my eyes and just like pick one and order. They all looked great. No color I don't think looked better or worse than the other. They all looked and felt awesome. Speaking of how they felt, the metal body feels really good. It had kind of an HTC-esque feel to it. It was incredibly thin, but just weighted enough. Surprisingly, even with that camera hump, it didn't feel very top heavy either. It's some of the complaint that I've got with devices. In the leaks of the 6P, it looked like that camera hump was huge. And in the pictures, the device looked very ugly. In person though, it's a totally different story. The slope of the camera is very gradual. It's not like an angle where it's a big right angle at the giant hump. It's gradual, you hardly even notice it. And I was actually really surprised. I was not a fan of how I thought it was gonna look from the leaks. Seeing it in person was totally different. You can appreciate how thin and tiny it is while still having a giant battery and a QHD screen. It was all very impressive. And speaking of the screen, it looked really good. I've tested a few Huawei phones, but of the major manufacturers, I've tested their phones the least. Since we're really just sort of players in the US market over the past few years. So I didn't know what to expect with their screens. It looked really nice. I played video, I browsed websites. The whites looked really white, the colors looked true, and things looked very bright. I'm the kind of guy who usually likes to turn my brightness up almost all the way. I did it on the 6P, and I had to turn it down a little bit because it was almost too bright. The fingerprint sensor on the back, I don't know how big a fan of I am. I tried it and I used it and it worked really well. It worked as fast as Google was advertising. They're calling it Nexus Imprint, but the fingerprint sensor. So it worked very well. I'm just not sure how I feel about the placement on the back for a few reasons. First, cases. I know that Google is selling some cases up on the Google store, but how is that going to work? If the case is going to have, obviously the case has a thickness in it, you're going to have to push down almost through that case to get your finger on it. So that is to be determined. But it did work well, and it worked very fast. As fast as the new Touch ID on the 6S and 6S Plus, in case you're wondering what you want to measure it from. I do think the fingerprint sensors on the current crop of Samsung devices, so the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus, are very fast as well. These new ones though were definitely faster. One thing I couldn't test while I was there was the camera, because I couldn't get the pictures off the phone onto a computer. So I only had just a few minutes there. So I don't know the answer to that yet. I got a ton of questions about camera. 12.3 megapixel sensor is certainly high enough in the megapixel department. People were disappointed about no OIS. But Google was really hot to trot about the size of those pixels, like gigantic pixels that supposedly alleviate the need for OIS, but we'll see when we get it in the offices. I think pricing is really good. I like they're going up to 128. The display, it looks almost edge to edge. You're getting a 5.7-inch display and it looks like a 5.5-inch package. So yeah, that was really nice. They showed a diagram next to an iPhone 6S Plus, and you can certainly see the difference. So you're getting a bigger screen size. And it looked really nice. For me, if I was gonna order one, I'd go 6P. And I was pretty sure that I was gonna do a 5X when I went to the event. So hats off to Huawei and Google for creating a really nice phone. One last bit that I wanna mention about the 6P, there's been some rumors. No wireless charging. No wireless charging. As of now, you can't do wireless charging through Metal, at least on a consumer release. Technology does supposedly exist, but it's not on a consumer phone yet, so that's not there. USB-C is nice. It does have USB-C fast charging. A lot of people were asking about that. So fast charging is there. I don't know if it's Qualcomm standard or something new, because it is running the A10, but it's there, and no wireless charging. On the 5X front, I was a big fan of the original Nexus 5, like pretty much everybody was. The 1080p screen looked really good in person. It looked really good in person. It didn't look QHD, it's sort of as sharp and as crisp, but it looked as good as some of the best 1080p screens that are out there right now. So don't worry how the screen's gonna look. LG does a really nice job. The phones felt really nice. They'll feel very familiar if you use the original Nexus 5. It feels almost like that. There's a bit more of a soft touch texture to the plastic back, so as opposed to the smoothness that you had on the original Nexus 5, but that's the only real difference. I like that the battery is a little bit bigger. I think that should certainly help. Marshmallow's Doze mode is certainly going to help improve battery life. USB-C is nice, it's a fast charging. I could not get confirmation on wireless charging though, but I'm led to believe it is not there. So again, bear that in mind. 12.3 megapixel sensor, unfortunately I couldn't test on the Nexus 5. I saw all the colors. I was not a fan of that mint green color in person. It's a new color for a phone, but if I was going to order one, I would probably not look at that one. So anyway, bear that in mind as you guys decide which phone you want to get. I did not get much time though to test Marshmallow, unfortunately, save for just seeing what the Easter egg was. But it was there, it looked good, it looked quick. I'm excited for Doze, which actually will sort of almost shut down, sort of go into low power mode when you're not using apps, when you're sleeping or phones are just sort of sitting idle. You should get a big improved battery life. One other software tweak that I saw on the 6P also that I couldn't confirm on the 5X, it almost has Motorola's ambient display, so if you wave your hand over it or shake the phone, it will sort of give you notifications and time and stuff on it. So that was kind of a cool addition that Google and Huawei added there. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the phones. They're really nice improvements, easier to hold than the current Nexus 6 if you want a bigger phone on the 6P side. The 5X, if you like the Nexus 5, you know exactly what you're going to get. Same fingerprint sensor, it worked fast as well, just like the 6P, and it's a little bit newer version of the Nexus 5. I wish there was more than 2 gigs of RAM. I know 2 gigs is plenty for right now. If you can use a phone for 2 years, I think that 2 gigs is going to be the lowest that's acceptable. So I'd like to have had at least 3. I'd like to have also had 4 gigs in the 6P, but it did not happen. And hopefully this will help you guys decide whether or not you want to upgrade or not upgrade. There's a lot of other options out there, especially for those price points. I know people are looking at the Moto X and cross-shopping that with the 6P, and you do get expandable storage with the Moto X. So bear that in mind and decide what's most important for you guys. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see our hands-on with both the phones, we'll link to them. We'll put annotations up so you guys can click right over to them. Anyway, till next time, John Render from TechnoBuffalo. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.